Hey, let's talk about America's diabolical DEI plan. Now, we're experiencing all this, the firings and layoffs and suspensions of federal workers. And this is done because for their readjustment. They've already gotten all the records. They knew who everybody is. They know, too, that they have to bring people back to work. The thing is, those who are considered DEI will not get a letter asking them to come back to work. That's not going to happen. First of all, what we have to put in our minds, what to really understand, is that we have the last bastion of white supremacists running our country right now. And this is just my opinion. I'm not accredited to say what I'm saying. This is just an opinion from. I'm just telling you what I see. And what's happening is let's go this way. First of all, America is losing power all around the world. Not just America, Europe is in the same situation as America is. Even though Trump is trying to separate from Europe, America from Europe, they're in the same boat right now. For hundreds of years, Europe and then America have been controlling the world's economy, the people around the world. They've staged coups, they've changed regimes, they've dictated politics and policies in countries. They give aid, but then the aid is contingent upon them following their policies. So, but the thing is, all that's come to an end. It's worked for hundreds of years, but the world has continues to grow. That's the thing about time and growth. You always grow. You grow every day. If we all think like that, we actually, if we just think, hey, I'm going to grow to be a better person tomorrow than I am today, not to be nothing big, just a little minute things that can change your perspective. But anyway, the world has continued to grow. So now you look at all the anti-China stuff that's been for the past 30, 40 years. The U.S. has been down on China. They've been trying to stop their growth, stop their expansion, and it didn't work. It didn't work because see, China has a hands-off policy when they deal with other countries. They don't put any military on your soil. They don't try to intervene in your government. They make a deal, and that's the deal. Europe and America has been quite different over the centuries. All their deals are contingent upon you following their directions, their instructions, and it really left nothing in there for your personal growth. But you had to accept that because it was better than nothing. Well, now there are alternatives, and other countries are taking them. You hear about the BRICS countries, but you don't hear about the Belt and Road Initiative, where they're expanding roads, highways, ports across the world. There are 140 countries involved in that. That's sponsored by China with their no interference policy. The rest of the world is responding to that. Now, here's the real big kicker. This is the big kicker, and this what scares the U.S. more than anything. The majority of the world's minerals are in China, Russia, North Korea, and Africa. And with the dilemma that America finds itself in with all this anti-China, anti-growth for anybody else policies is that they need these countries and these people for our continued growth. The big problem we have here in America is that we keep trying to fix stupid instead of addressing it. And what I mean by that is, and it's not just Trump, it was Biden before him, it was Obama before there, it was Bush before then, it was Clinton before then. The last president that actually had the idea of growing with China was Reagan. And I'm not a Reagan fan at all. Not at all. But that was the path. It wasn't just growing with China. It was about growing with the rest of the world. It was about leaving the colonial practices behind, leaving the domination behind, leaving your racism, if not behind, at least not displaying it so arrogantly, like as if it's a passage of right. Israel has no right to drop the bombs and bomb the people of Palestine the way they have. There's no right. They have no right to do that. Sure, your retaliation for October 7th could have been another strike, but now we're talking about almost 2 years in, and you're constantly bombing these people. And now, even as of today, even during a ceasefire, they don't even want to allow aid and medicine to go into Palestine. They've blocked that, which is now we're creating another problem in just in that ceasefire. Arab nations they're not going to take it. They're just not going to take it. And they're not going to align with the United States against the people of Gaza. It's just not going to happen in the long run. I mean, hell, Trump touts his involvement with Saudi Arabia. Well, hell, Saudi Arabia just signed up with BRICS. What does that tell you? Trump thinks he's going to take Russia out of BRICS and they're going to align with the U.S. and create this white hegemony superpower. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. The difference between Trump in his 70s and Putin in his 70s, Putin is a much smarter man. And he has more loyalty to Russia than the loyalty Trump has to America. As a matter of fact, the whole world sees that. They see Trump has no loyalty to America or to anyone. This is why all his bluster and everything he's saying, they don't take that serious. They don't trust him. They don't trust America. The world does not trust America right now. We're really in a bad spot. We are not trusted. But anyway, Putin is not going to leave BRICS because that leads to development of Russia. He sees that what America and Europe fails to see, he sees the value and the humanity of Indian people, of Chinese people, of African people. America and Europe, they don't see that value. They don't value the humanity in anybody that's non-white. Now, this is not all Americans, but this is the American policy. And everybody goes along with it and have been going along with it. Just like with all these federal workers being laid off, they're going to bring back the white workers. They will get notices to return to work. Now, the whole plan behind Trump and Musk and Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance and that whole group of white supremacists that are trying to hold on to that last great white hope in a world where whites are 23% of the world's population, have been controlling 77% of the world's population, which that other 77% say time's up, we're done. What they're going to do, in their minds, they really believe when they start, they're going to actually fill the federal government with more white folks, give more white people opportunity, because that they see in their mind is their way to take in those woke white people, those Antifa white people, those nigger roll loving white people, and bring a higher percentage to their side to show that white can be right. Just join us. So now this is where, right now in America, this whole fight for control of America, us minorities here in this country, we're not part of that fight. That fight is between white folks to decide what kind of country they want. It's on them. I mean, we have a role to play, but how they majority decides they want to go from here on, as we go forward from now, and then even we get to the midterms, we'll actually even have a better indicator of what's happening. This is we're in, like I say, we're in the middle, or really at the end, I really believe, of white supremacy, not just in America, but around the world. Intelligent people, people that want to grow, people that actually are spiritual, whether they're Muslim or Christian. If you actually believe in God, if you actually believe in Jesus Christ, well, why in the hell can't you try and be like Jesus Christ? You can't tell me American Christianity is based on the Bible. I mean, sure, and I'll say again, a large majority of white people are spiritual. They want peace. They just want to live their life, raise their kids, take their vacation, have a good meal. But then you have another group of people who think that they are meant to run the world, who are still stuck in that, not stuck in, but in what has been a long-standing white supremacist control of the world, that still want to hold on to that, even though all the indicators are telling them no. And it's saying no because not only does the world evolve, people evolve. People just want to live. That's all we want to do. We just want to live, enjoy our life, enjoy our kids, enjoy our family. That's all people look for in life. I mean, we all have different ambitions and we have different goals, but in the end, we just want to live. So as we're in the middle of this fight, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just not going to happen. But just like Jewish communities band together, even though they're not all friends, Latin communities band together, even though they're not all friends. People in the know that, and even in California, Southern Mexicans and Northern Mexicans don't get along, but they band together in emergency. White folks we know band together because we know how they voted. Black folks band together because we know how we voted. Even though Khan was at the top of the ticket, we voted for humanity. Everybody that voted, they voted for humanity, whereas the other side, they voted for capitalism. They put their trust in millionaires. They believe that these millionaires actually gave a damn about them. They're finding out now that they didn't. So it's how they take that information, how they process it, and how their mentality changes afterward is still to be determined. Because people can be misused, and you could throw them a bone, and they'll smile again and love you to death. It just happens. We saw that. This is what happened. I mean, look at Trump. He's back. He's the president again, even though he's a convicted criminal, and even though he allowed the COVID epidemic to devastate the country. Everybody knows this in their heart. You know, the thing is, when you're in charge, even right now, Trump's trying to blame Biden for this economy. You can't do that. When you're in charge, you own it. You own that. When you take over, if they hire you to come in as your general manager of a company, from the day you hit that floor, you're responsible for everything that happens at that company. That's under your umbrella. There's nobody else. You can't, if they have second quarter losses, you can't say, oh, that was because of the last general. Come on, folks. Let's just keep it real. The world doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. Jobs and business does not work like that. So the fact that they put this man back in office and that they still gravitated toward what he was saying. Okay, sure, they keep saying, oh, the cost of eggs. We all know that was crap. All the media knows it was all crap. I mean, that's the one thing. Our news, our media is garbage. It's totally compromised. It's garbage. They couldn't report a true story if they had to. You could be standing right next to them. You could both see the same story, and they're going to tell a different one. I'm just sorry. It's come to that. It's not a responsible media. Not just now, it hasn't been for years. And this is why we're all running around here like chickens with our heads cut off, because we're getting all this different information that can be verified before it's actually published. But it's not, because the orders are written and they come down from above. Which gets back to the other thing. All our media companies are owned by the millionaires. The same people that are subjugating us. It's the same people. They own all the media. And we all sit there and we watch stuff, we read stuff, and we believe everything that comes out every day. Your morning starts off, and they make sure in the morning when you wake up black, you hear about a black man got shot. You wake up white, you hear about the immigrants that are sleeping all over San Francisco and ruining San Francisco. I mean, you start your morning off with already, you start off hectically. They make sure this is all primed to start your day off hectically, and then all through the day, they're constantly feeding you propaganda every day, 10, 20 items before you even get to dinner. And this is something too we have to like. You have it's it affects people differently. Some people each thing affects them. Some people with a whole. But you gotta take that all with a grain of salt. Is the first thing you gotta think of is like I'm being indoctrinated. Whether it's I don't care uh, 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 if it's friggin' the Kardashians or anything like that. I mean, whether it's the Kardashians, whether it's the news, whether it's I keep wanting to. I can't even think of the name of the little guy I want to think of. But anyway, we're being filled with what they want us to have and what they want us to deal with every day. And sometimes you just got to filter the noise. And you got, but the bottom line being is, uh, us Black Americans, it's not about coming together under unity. It's about mounting up for defense because this, just like there's being a global shift, there's going to be a regional shift in our country. You have these factions that are trying to make America become uh, the rich man's playground. Bottom line, that's what it is. The rich man's playground, where we're all of a sudden, we're all dumbed down. We're all working these little stupid jobs that don't allow for any advancement in any way for a lot less pay, because that's the other thing. In order for America to compete globally in manufacturing, even we have to, they have to lower everybody's pay. We have that $7.25 an hour needs to come down to compete globally. And see, the problem is we have these people that claim to be smart and this and that. Well, if you can't figure out how to manufacture the same products that somebody else is manufacturing for around the same price, then I mean obviously you're not as smart as you think you are. And that's just the bottom line. So what we have to do as people, and we have to mount up as a group so that we can control our narrative. The same way the Jewish people are going to do, the same way the Latin people are going to do, the same way the white people are going to do. They're going to mount up for their narrative. That's coming. Because all of us are being assaulted by the millionaires and the billionaires. There's no longer a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. It's a fair day's work for their bottom end. And none of us are excluded from what they want to do. These are globalists. They'll take and they'll mine all the energy they can from this country. They have no loyalty to America. They'll just move on to the next big thing, which the next big thing is China, is India, is Africa. They're going to go where the money is. But first, they got to pillage all of us first. They have to subjugate us and put us in a whole new global role. But is our role going to be a role of where we just work with the rest of the world, all of us? Or is it going to be where the rich and the millionaires and the billionaires determine who we're going to be under their direction? Those are choices that we're faced with.